You shouldn't copy and paste code because you're not going to learn. And before you give up and stop watching this video, I'm going to give you an example. And once you've seen this example, I believe you're going to agree with me. So let's get right into it. So let's take this piece of code, for example. I've got a simple method here in a console application that has a string, okay? And I want to find out if this string contains the word jumps. Well, there's a lot of ways to do that, but let's say I'm tasked with using a regular expression to figure this out, and I don't know how to do regular expressions, for example. So I know I'm going to need a method, so let's go ahead and put in a method here. Let's call it does contain jumps. So let's do that. Let's print it out to the screen. So console, and this is C#, but you could do this in any language, and most closest language to this would be Java. Let's do console.writeLine does contain jumps input, and we'll generate that method header there, and that's a boolean, so do .toString. And here's what we got to figure out. So it's either going to return true or false. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on over to Stack Overflow because I'm just copying and pasting code, right? And I'll show you why not to do that. And you can search Stack Overflow from the Stack Overflow site, but what I usually do is I just go to Google and I type in a sentence, for example, find words in a sentence using regular expressions, and I put it in quotes like this, which will search the whole string, the whole sentence, and not just individual words that happen to be in the results. I put C# so I can limit to the language, and I put before the start of it Stack Overflow, and you can see this one's in purple because I looked it up before this video, but I'm going to pick the first result here. And I'm copying and pasting some code. Not even going to think about it, right? I'm showing you what not to do. So let's scroll up to the top, and in this case we're going to copy and paste the question. So right click, copy. Go back to Visual Studio, paste. Alright, so we're passing in the input string. So we don't need this sentence. Instead, let's just rename this to sentence and delete this line. Now, the pattern is what we're going to be comparing against. So we said we're looking for jumps. So we'll change search string here to jumps. And I mean, these are kind of common things, right? You're Googling it, you don't know how it works, but you still know what your inputs and outputs are. So you should be able to figure that much out even if you're copying and pasting, which you shouldn't. All right, so now at this point, we're checking for match.success, and we're going to return true. If we found a match, return false. Now we know this doesn't work because it was in the question. So we'll go back here, and we'll take a look at the solution. And they said, just remove the second slash in the first B, or we can copy and paste this whole line here, and that goes here, and here's jumps, search string jumps, just like we did before. And now why don't we run it? Nope. It needs a console.readLine. Haven't done one of these for a while. Console.readLine. What that's going to do is just kind of make it wait for us to put in some input. So it was true. And just to make sure that it's working, let's remove jumps and run it. Now it should be false, and it's false. So let's put it back in. Alright, so now you've seen how to copy and paste. That probably wasted your time because you already know how to copy and paste. Now I'm going to show you why you shouldn't do that. I have here on the screen C# regular expression in Google, and I'm going to click the absolute first result. the regex class in system text regular expressions. That probably looks familiar, right? It's what we included here. Alright, now let's take a look at it. You got fields, constructors, properties, and methods. How long do you think it's going to take to read all this? Well, regular expressions are complex, but in order to just learn it and know how to use it without Googling every darn thing, maybe you'll learn how the documentation works so you know where to look to get exactly what you need and understand how that works, and then as you use them over time, you'll become a more valuable employee and more marketable and be able to accomplish tasks quicker, right? So scrolling down, we see all kinds of examples. That's not much different from copy and pasting. In fact, this sounds a lot like the sentence I used. However, we can really get a feel for how it works. Let's look at these patterns. You know, you can see this means the start of the string, match 0 more white space characters, match, you know, and as you know what you're looking for, you come to the documentation and read the official answers here, and then you can build your regular expressions in code. And, you know, I know a lot of you probably are looking at this and saying, oh my God, all he's going to really do is just copy and paste from Microsoft instead of from Stack Overflow. I love Stack Overflow. I go there when I'm absolutely stuck. But if you come here to the official documentation first, you're going to learn stuff and understand why it's built the way it's built, and maybe get a little bit ahead of yourself, right? You have time to, if you have time, you can read these paragraphs. I mean, look at this. You know, it supports a full-featured regular expression language, substantial power and flexibility, pattern matching. So what is it doing? It's matching patterns. Scrolling down a little bit, you can get the history of it, starting with .NET Framework 4.5. You know, keep scrolling down, get into different ways of initializing it. Maybe it works better in the code framework that you're working in. Scrolling a little bit down, you know, cache size, escaping, whether it's matching, replacing, splitting. So I think you get the picture. Spending a little bit of time here in this official documentation is going to be more beneficial to you in the long run than copying and pasting. And this doesn't just apply to C# or regular expressions or whatever. You can look up, you know, your Node in here, your PHP, whatever it is that you work on. Hope that helps. Have a great day.